All right, so what we're going to be working on here is transitioning to the non-volley zone, utilizing the third shot drop. I'm just kind of explaining to my client what I want him to do. You can tell there's a cone to his right. There's actually another one further back towards the baseline. And this is me just kind of explaining to him what I want him to do. I have him starting at the non-volley zone just to kind of get a baseline of just gentle strokes, getting used to obviously how you would dink, because essentially the third shot drop is nothing but a majorly exaggerated dink from the baseline that utilizes the third shot drop to be able to get your team, your partner, up to the kitchen line or the non-volley zone. So we're just kind of playing here, just getting a rhythm, and eventually I'll have him move back to the first cone, which will be kind of a very minor, exaggerated lifting of the ball, and kind of it's almost kind of like a lifting and carrying the ball. And this is kind of where they have to get their feel and rhythm. This is me kind of explaining, the face needs to be pointed not up, but at an angle. And when you lift, just it's a kind of gradual but exaggerated lift. So nothing too difficult here on the first cone. Watch out for that ball, obviously. Got to tell my clients to, especially if they don't know the ball's behind them, got to warn them. So right here, I'm having him drill me some balls, so I can kind of demonstrate what I'm wanting him to really do. You definitely don't want any sort of flick in the wrist. You want to have a very sturdy, firm stance. You want to put yourself in behind the ball, and you want the ball in front of you. Nothing to the side of you, left or right. That's going to cause forced errors, especially because this is a third shot drop. You have plenty of ample time to be able to place yourself, get the ball in front of you. A lot of this sport is all about the ball being in front of you. So right there, it's to my left. Again, to my left, this is where I kind of tell him, hey, this is cooperative. Keep it to my front, because this is, I'm just, all we're doing is working on the third shot drop, trying to perfect it. So as long as he keeps it to the front, that gives you a better opportunity to practice, kind of what angle your paddle needs to be and your strength and all that kind of stuff. So I've got him back over at the first cone. And now that I've demonstrated to him kind of what I'm asking, then I continue to just reiterate, kind of like keeping the face of the paddle up at an angle and just kind of nice and gently picking up and lifting the ball. This is very minor exaggeration. No flick in the wrist, just very minor exaggeration. So right here, I'm going to pull 3 cones out, and I'm going to put them in front of me, because this kind of gives him an idea of, hey, I want you to put the ball on this side of the cones. That's going to be an area where I consider a perfect third shot drop. If they're at least 4 inches from the cones closest to the net, then I consider that a perfect third shot drop. I cannot attack that. And anybody who's smart in this sport will not try to, they're not going to try to attack that. So this is all about trying to allow yourself and your partner time to be able to get to the non-volley zone. So all of this is the whole purpose of this is really to get yourself to the kitchen or the non-volley zone. So right there, he was kind of in the yellow zone, what I call the yellow zone. It's a little iffy, but you know he's starting to kind of zero in on some perfect third shot drops from where he's at. So here in a little bit, I'm gonna have him back up to the second cone. Once he starts getting a few more repeated third shot drops that are in the area that I want him to be hitting. Yeah, you can see kind of I saw him mess up. He kind of he didn't keep his eye on the ball and ended up hitting the top of his paddle. So now I've got him moving back to the second cone. This is gonna be more of a medium exaggerated shot. So now we're gonna kind of focus on this. Yeah, he hit the cone. So now we're gonna kind of just keep working with this. This is gonna be a little more difficult, obviously. So there's gonna be a few more mess ups here because it is a little bit more challenging. There's a lot to really focus on here because now you're further away, and the whole goal really is to keep it on the side of the cone that he's standing. So you're really trying to get that to be a non-attackable ball. So there's going to be some mess ups, and that's understandable. You know, I'm telling him, hey, you know, this you're doing really good on this. Just let's really, you know, let's just give it some medium exaggeration. You know, he's got a good third shot drop. It's he's gotta trust himself. A lot of the things that I've noticed is trusting your shot. A lot of people don't trust their shot. This sport really there's a lot of second guessing in this sport, and that's one of the things that you really have to kind of work on and figure out is that you probably you can probably play a lot better than you think that you can. Um, so right here, he's making some errors. But he's just trying to figure out, you know, his kind of his speed, his strength. You know, it's really got to be fluent. You don't want anything strong, you know, overpowering, but you don't want it so weak that it ends up in the net like he's been hitting it. And that really just comes with him not trusting his shot. So right there, he made a perfect shot. Another perfect shot, you know. So he's starting to show some signs that all right, he's honing in on his skill. Okay, he made a little bit of mistake there. He was a little too soft, but so that was a little deep. That was a good drop and another good drop. So once you start showing consistent good drops, perfect drops, what I consider perfect drops, then I'm gonna start pushing him back. So right now he's at the second cone. It's a little bit of an error there, but that's to be expected. This is me just kind of reiterating, hey, you want the ball in front of you. You're gonna have plenty of time when you serve the ball and they return that ball. You're gonna have plenty of time to move where you got to move to get that ball in front of you, so that way you can make a perfect third shot drop. When people let those shots get beside them, then it's no good. You're gonna have a lot more of a challenging time getting your third shot drop if it's beside you. So this is me saying move. You got to move. You got to shuffle. Get yourself behind that ball and put that ball between you and the non-volley zone. So right here, he's starting to show some signs of some perfect third shot drops. You know, he's starting to get the hint. You know, the idea, like it's nice and gentle, nothing too hard. You know, just nice and easy. Again, just reiterating. You know, it's just a medium, gentle picking up, lifting, and carrying of the ball. You're not putting any top spin. You're not doing anything like that. It's just nice and kind of just a fluent motion. Again, just reiterating the how the stroke is supposed to be. So there's a perfect one right there. That's, that's considered perfect. All right. Yep. Another perfect one. So now he starts to show some perfect consistency. So here in a little bit, I'm gonna have him go back, and this is where it's gonna get a little more challenging. This is where I push him back because I don't want him to hurt himself, but he's shown signs of perfect consistency with a perfect third shot drop. So now we're at the baseline. This is typically where your third shot drop is going to take place. I haven't come in because the volume in the room is very loud. This is why I'm doing a voiceover. So I'm kind of explaining, just reiterating, like, hey, now that you're at the baseline, this is typically where you're going to be when you do a third shot drop. This has got to be an exaggerated shot. But nothing changes in regards to your grip, the face of your paddle, and the method of how you lift and carry the ball. The only thing that really changes is just your exaggeration of your strokes. So right there, that was perfect. He lifted it up. It almost came to his pretty much his jaw line, and that's perfect. Again, another perfect one. But you'll start to notice later on, like when he's at the baseline, he if his stroke is not coming up far enough and exaggerated enough, then it goes short like that. Again, that would have been considered perfect. Probably attackable, especially off the bounce, but still considered probably a perfect third shot drop. A little long on that. See, he's playing it too soft right here. He's not exaggerating the shot. You see that's better. Probably attackable, but better. So I'm gonna have him come in, and I'm kind of gonna demonstrate what I want him to do at the baseline. So he's gonna feed me the balls, and I'm gonna go to the baseline, and I'm gonna kind of show him. Right here, I'm kind of demonstrating just so that he understands, seeing it up close, like the exaggeration that you really have to put on the ball. It's not a stroke. You're not swinging it. It's not tennis. You're not putting topspin on it. It's an exaggeration of a shot that's in front of you, and you're picking up on the ball and lifting and carrying it, and kind of just, it's almost as if you were gonna underhand toss the ball. So I messed up there. I did not exaggerate the way that I needed to. Again, still messing up. It's a little hard when somebody doesn't have the experience of feeding balls, but I do the best that I can. So that was pretty good right there. I'm putting myself behind the ball. The ball's in front of me, and that was a little bit medium. That was yellow zone, but I'm just trying to demonstrate in a way of kind of like how your stroke or your lift really needs to be. It's got to be just exaggerated.